You know those digital locks that are supposed to protect everything? I'm talking your bank account, your private photos, the whole shebang. Well, they're about to become basically useless. Today, we're going to break down two massive threats to our digital lives, one that's happening right now and one that's looming just over the horizon. And we'll look at the powerful new security philosophy being built to protect us from both. Okay, let's get into it. So let's just start with a quick question for you. Think about your online banking app, that cloud drive with all your family photos, your student portal. How confident are you, really, that all that data is 100% safe? Because here's the thing. Our data is fighting a war on two different fronts at the same time. One of those threats is this non-stop flood of attacks happening as we speak. But the other one is more like a ticking time bomb that could completely shatter our digital world as we know it.
And here, you can really see the two sides of this coin. On one hand, you've got today's problem, a constant, relentless stream of data breaches. And yeah, even insider threats. But on the right, that's the real game changer. That's the rise of quantum computers. These machines are going to be so powerful they can just crack the encryption that protects our entire digital lives, making today's security totally obsolete.
So that's a pretty big problem, right? How in the world do you fight back against that? Well, this brings us to the whole solution we're looking at today. And the best way to get your head around it is with this analogy right here. We're not just building a better lock. We are building a completely new kind of vault.
So, how do we build it? Well, this new vault stands on two incredibly powerful principles. They're designed to protect our data, not just today, but against those quantum threats of tomorrow.
The first principle is something called quantum-resistant encryption, or PQC for short. Just think of this as the actual material of the vault itself. These are the unbreakable walls. It uses these really advanced next-generation algorithms that are built from the ground up to be secure even against a super powerful quantum computer. It's all about making sure the data we lock away today stays locked away forever.
Now, the second principle is called zero trust architecture. See, the old way of doing security was kind of like a castle. Once you got past the walls, you were generally trusted inside. Zero trust? It just throws that whole idea right out the window. It's not about the walls. It's a radical new security protocol that operates inside the vault, watching every single move.
So how does this new protocol actually work? Well, it all boils down to a very simple but incredibly powerful philosophy.
This is it. This is the core rule. It doesn't care who you are or if you're logging in from the office or a coffee shop. Every single request to access data gets challenged and checked. Every single time.
This whole process is like a relentless four-step checkpoint. First, a request is made to access some data, but then it doesn't just ask for a password. Step 2 is to verify the actual device being used. Then for step 3, it authorizes access, but it checks if you're allowed to see that specific piece of data. And finally, step 4, it grants only the most limited access possible, just enough to do the job and nothing more.
Okay, I know this all sounds pretty high-tech, maybe a little abstract, but what does it actually mean for you? Let's look at how this security shield protects the services we all rely on every single day. Let's start with something most of us can relate to: education, university, you name it. In this kind of environment, this tech becomes a silent guardian, working in the background to protect both the integrity of your work and the privacy of your personal info.
For example, it secures online exams by encrypting the questions and answers to stop cheating and leaks. It locks down all your grades and coursework on the learning platform so that only you and your instructors can ever see them. And, super importantly, it helps schools comply with strict privacy laws like FERPA, which is the big federal act in the US designed to protect student education records.
Next up, and this is a huge one for literally everyone, is your money. The financial world is, as you can imagine, a prime target for cyber attacks, and this is where this level of security becomes absolutely critical.
What's so important here is that security becomes active, not passive. It's constantly watching financial transactions in real time to spot fraud before it happens. And maybe most importantly, it gives us phishing-resistant authentication. This is the beginning of the end for the easily stolen password, and it's a huge step toward a future where our digital identity is finally secure.
And of course, there's the cloud. Most of us use cloud services every single day, whether we realize it or not. We store everything from work documents to family photos up there. So securing that foundation is, well, it's everything.
And this is where the protection gets pretty brilliant. Your files get automatically encrypted the second you upload them. That means even if someone accidentally leaves a storage folder public,
which happens way more than you'd think, the files inside are still just scrambled, useless data. It can even lock down individual pieces of info inside a database, so a hacker might get away with a file full of gibberish, but not your actual data.
All right, let's zoom out for a second. We've seen how this protects us as individuals. But for the businesses we trust with all our data, this isn't just about good security. It's about survival. And it's about following the law.
See, for a business, adopting a zero-trust approach goes way beyond just being a good idea. It's often a legal requirement. This framework is the key to navigating that complex web of global regulations designed to protect our privacy.
Just take a look at how this applies to some of the big ones. For Europe's GDPR, which is all about personal data, Zero Trust helps enforce those strict access controls. For HIPAA in the US healthcare system, it's used to encrypt sensitive patient records. And for PCI DSS, the global standard for credit card security, it isolates and secures that critical payment information. It's basically a built-in framework for accountability.
Okay, we have covered a ton of ground here, so let's boil it all down. Why does this super advanced security architecture ultimately matter to you? Well, when you strip it all away, this new approach gives you 3 powerful guarantees. The first is that it dramatically lowers the risk from data breaches by making any stolen data completely unreadable.
The second guarantee, it directly protects your wallet. By securing financial transactions with identity verification that's way stronger than passwords, it builds a much safer foundation for our entire digital economy.
And the third guarantee is that it forces companies to be better guardians of our information. It gives them the technical tools they actually need to comply with all those complex privacy laws that are designed to protect us all.
So, as we wrap this up, I want to leave you with this one last thought. We are heading into an era of deepfakes, of AI-powered scams, of cyber threats that are getting smarter every single day. In this new world, our ability to trust what we see and do online is going to depend entirely on the strength of our verification. The question is no longer just about keeping secrets, it's about proving what's real.